If you ask me, I personally think Konami has been killing it with the legacy support recently and creating a deck based around a card like Mystical Space Typhoon and turning it into a huge engine, something similar to Fire King except with more lower level extenders, is very interesting. It's almost trying to emulate multiple archetypes at the same time, but it's also really unique because it's all based around MST resolving or being in graveyard. Playground Yu-Gi-Oh! You were the coolest guy on the block if you resolved an MST. MST negating your spells and your traps. Everybody started sweating, everybody started popping off. In the modern game, it is now a thing that MST does actually negate the effect of the card that it can destroy. Essentially, the support can turn MST into a mini Primite Drill Beam, and it's not even once per turn, it is once per chain, which could effectively mean once per copy of MST if you're playing this trap card. Now, you guys saw in my recent Genesis video where I was mixing the Radiant Typhoon deck with the Goblin Biker engine, and I was thinking that was a good showcase of what the Genesis format Radiant Typhoon Goblin Biker was like, but I still haven't really shown what this deck can do in Modern. And it's mostly the same, but there's higher ceilings, right? Obviously, you're not limited by points, and there's link monsters involved as well. So in this video, I'm gonna go through a bunch of combos with you guys really quickly about what the Magnificent Goblin Biker lines look like.
Let's rock!
Starting with our Radiant Typhoon Swen, this guy is probably our best starter because by playing the Radiant Typhoons in Goblin Biker, you're saying Terrortop is our best starter, but what happens if we play 10 copies of it instead of just 3 copies of it? That's essentially what the Radiant Typhoon engine is, and this may be one of the best things to happen to Goblin Biker since the Fiendsmith package, and I'll show you why. Starting with just one Swen. Swen, if you have Mystical Space Typhoon in your graveyard, or if your opponent has no spells and traps, then he gets to inherent summon himself, and that's important because this is going to be the first time in Goblin Biker history that we have an inherent summon that isn't Terrortop, which effectively it is just Terrortop going first. It's guaranteed going first since there's no deck in Yu-Gi-Oh that puts a spell and trap on field going first besides like Labyrinth, and people aren't playing that at the moment, so you should be alright going first. On summon, he adds more engine from deck to hand. So he adds a Radiant Typhoon Speller Trap or MST. In our case, we searched the Typhoon Chant, and Chant is a quick play spell searcher for either MST or a Radiant Typhoon monster from deck to hand. In this case, we searched the Eldam, and Eldam, just like the Swen, searches on summon, except Eldam searches a monster and not a Speller Trap. If you're not playing the bigger engine or the wider engine of the Radiant Typhoon deck, these two are kind of interchangeable. It doesn't matter which one you open because both of them will kind of just get you there. Whereas if you are playing some of the higher level monsters, like as you are going to see, we just searched Crocea, then you do want to go Swen first, and Swen is your preferred starter, Eldam is your preferred extender, but it's still like plus or minus a few points. Eldam is still perfectly fine to start your combo if you're only focused on level 3s. In this scenario, we got 2 level 3s without using our normal summon, and we're able to make the big Gabanga. And we have this Crocea in hand, which some people do not like this card because it locks you into wind types, but I found a better way to utilize this card than maybe some people were thinking. So you go Gabanga using your 2 special summons, you go for Doug goes for Breakout. Breakout brings out Gone Wild. Now, Gone Wild triggers and Crocea triggers in hand because you activated a quick play spell, she gets to special summon herself. And then Gone Wild will summon you 1 from deck. Sploder's gonna revive the Doug. And now, off of just one Swen, you have Gabonga, 2 level 6s, 2 level 3s. You're not locked into Wind. And the reason why you're not locked into Wind is because you're not using her effect to search. If we were using the wider Radiant Typhoon engine, she would be a great card as well to have here, because she would also allow us to search a Radiant Typhoon card, which means it could be any card in the engine, even the trap card, and an MST. Meaning if we search a trap card and an MST, we could make the MST into a Primite Drill Beam. But that would have stopped us from getting Sploder plus Doug. So in this scenario, we can go something like Exegard, which is something I've seen Goblin players playing a little more now, and I've kind of hopped on that train as well, even in OCG. And this essentially just searches an Omni Negate. It is weak to Droll because it searches Dispeller Trap, which I got confused with this for a second, because this card searches Dispeller Trap, but it special summons the monster from deck if you're playing the Terrortop. I almost thought this card set Dispeller Trap from deck, which would have made it better into Droll, but unfortunately that is not the case. So we get to search the Terrortop critical, which stops a spell, trap, or monster effect from activating by returning a material from a Terrortop Exceed back to your hand. Because this is almost always going to be a monster, the card doesn't stay in hand. You have to shuffle one card from your hand, or you have to place a card from your hand to the bottom of the deck if you return a monster to the hand. But it's still an Omni Negate. You don't need the follow-up. It's still just an Omni Negate, which is more than fine. And then you have 2 level 6s to do with what you please. In this situation, we made Crazy Beast. And if we go count down the interruptions, that's 1 off Gabonga, 1 off Crazy Beast, 1 off Gone Wild, and then 1 off Critical. That's 4 interruptions off of 1 card without using your normal summon. If you did use your normal summon, I think any normal summon in your deck, Mean Merciless, would have gotten you 1 to 2 extra bodies here, and those bodies you could have used to make an IP Masquerena, which would have given you 2 more negates in this instant, 2 more interruptions in this instant. So it would turn it from a 4 interruption board to a 6 interruption board if you have any other body. Now to look at Swen version 2, I'm gonna let it play out since you guys kind of get the gist, right? Radiant Typhoons, grab more Radiant Typhoons. Radiant Typhoon, grab more Radiant Typhoon. We're still going for Corsair, we're still going for Gabonga, we're still going for Doug, we're still going for the Breakout, we're still going for the Gone Wild, we're still going for Corsair. We're still going for Sploder. We're still going for Doug. This time we're going to make the Melody, to make Requiem, to make Engraver, to make Requiem, to make Necroquip, to make Engraver, to make Caesar. This may seem like it's a slightly weaker board because this board loses 2 Dark Ruler no more, but the Lars kind of makes up for that. Like, you won't lose to every board breaker, but sure, yeah, Dark Ruler no more. But if you know the matchup, if you know that they're a deck that's a little more on the aggro side, a little more extender heavy, you may want to go for the Caesar over the Critical or over the Desiree. And you could easily make Desiree here. You just need to play Lacrima. Like, you can't go Requiem straight into Engraver. You have to go Requiem straight into Lacrima, and then you can make Desiree there. But that's if you want to play Desiree. You don't have to now that you're playing Lars. And that's the beautiful thing about Radiant Typhoon Goblin Biker, is that it's truly more of an Exceed deck now than it's ever been. Because of how well all of these extenders work together, the deck is now capable of doing so much more with its Exceed plays if you open any of the Radiant Typhoon cards. So counting down, Gabonga 1, Gone Wild 2. Gone Wild isn't currently attached to it, but you can attach Gone Wild from deck. Lars is 3, and then Caesar is 4 and 5. So that's 5 interruptions off of just 1 Swen if you're using Fiendsmith. Or in this case, Cleansmith, because we only went for Requiem, Engraver, and Necroquip. So now I want to show you guys the biggest plus side of Radiant Typhoon over Terrortop. Terrortop would have to be summoned before you go for Gone Wild, because Terrortop requires you to control no monsters. But Radiant Typhoon, they get to work around the goblins because they don't care about what you have, they care about what your opponent has. Meaning you can start off with Gone Wild and then go Doug, and then Doug go Breakout, Breakout go for a second Gone Wild, and go for Caesar. In 4 summons, you now have a nib-proof negation, and you still have full combo with Radiant Typhoon Swen. This was not something that was easily achievable before. Before, you would have needed something like Gossip Shadow. If you opened Terrortop plus Gone Wild, you would have went Terrortop into Gabanga, Gabanga search Doug, and then Doug search Breakout as a, in case you nib me, I have Breakout and I can make 1 to 2 interruptions through Breakout. But in this scenario, we can go for the Gone Wild first because we don't care if we burn our normal summon. We always have the Swen as a backup in hand, so no matter what happens to this Gone Wild, we know we have an extra line of play. So this is something that's only really possible thanks to the Radiant Typhoon archetype. So we can go for Gabanga now. Now we can go for Megala. Megala is our 3rd Radiant Typhoon monster. It doesn't really have much of an effect. Rather, it is just an extender that we can use because it's searchable and because it's still an extender. Unlike the other 2, we don't use this one as a starter. This one's more like Crocea. This one's like if you just need the extra body, that's when you search it, or that's why you play it. It's kind of like Ryzeal, right? Because Ryzeal, they go X, they go Sword. Sword searches either Ice or Star, meaning you still have the 2 level 4s on field, but you have that 3rd level 4 in hand. Radiant Typhoon kind of does the same thing, except our 2 level 3s got us another level 3 that allows us to keep playing. That being said, we've already resolved Doug's on field effect this turn, but we didn't resolve its summon effect to detach 1 and summon itself. So we can detach 1 from Gabanga, summon itself, and then make Exegard. And now you kind of have the same field but backwards, right? But think about this. We made Caesar with no Feedsmith. We made Gabanga, which is going to have the Gone Wild attached, which actually 2 of our Gone Wilds are attached to Caesar. So you can imagine triple Gone Wild is now kind of a staple in Goblin Biker. It's like you kind of messed around with the ratios before, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 1. Now 3 is a staple. And Gabanga can attach that 3rd one during end phase if you're not comfortable leaving only 2 on Caesar. And we have Exegard to grab us the Omni Negate so that we can have a stronger board. 5 interruptions total, and it is nib proof. So if you open the Gone Wild plus the Swen, this is probably the line you should go for. Now that we know what to do if we open the Goblins, what do we do if we open Terrortop plus Swen? And I think this is a lot more potent because we're not using our normal summon in this line, right? It's Terrortop, it's Radiant Typhoon. It's just more copies of Terrortop without without needing to control no monsters. Now, here's the cool thing about Terrortop. It's still full Feedsmith combo. Before a certain point, I was just going Terrortop, Moon. Terrortop, Takatanborg, Moon of the Close Heaven. Now, Terrortop, Takatanborg, Melody, the Bastion. It's the same thing, except we get to utilize the fact that it's 2 level 3s, so Terrortop is still full Feedsmith combo if you need it to be. And again, clearly, we are trying to play through the Nibiru here. If they had Nibiru, they would have used it already before Caesar hit the field. But if not, then you get to keep playing with your Swen. Swen go for Chant, Chant go for Eldam, Eldam go for Megala, go for Gabanga, Gabanga search Doug. Now this time, this is interesting, right? This time, we didn't use Doug preemptively, so we get to search something here. And I think this is the very first line where searching pileup does not get in the way of you doing something else. Searching pileup here does not hinder the final end board the way that it would if you tried to search it in a normal combo. You have so many extenders now that pileup being searchable is now a good thing. Before, I was begging for more ways to search Goblin spells and traps. I'm like, please put it on Bonkers. please put it on like Mobamba. Please put it on at least one more Goblin card, the ability to grab a Goblin Speller Trap. Alas, our prayers were not answered, but we have these extenders now that help us do kind of the same thing. So we go Megala, we go Exegard, and now we have 2 set cards that again help us play through a lot of stuff. So counting out, Caesar's 2, Gabonga's 3, Gonwald's 4, Critical is 5, and Pile Up is actually 2 more. So depending on who you put it on top of and what the situation is, like let's say you're allowed to resolve Critical, and then after Critical resolves, you go for Pile Up targeting the Exegard, and then you summon out Crazy Beast to either protect your field or to swallow a Speller Trap. If Crazy Beast detaches this Pile Up, it is an interruption in grave. It's something like a DD Crow, so it could stop a graveyard play, meaning that we have a total of 7 interruptions off of Terrortop and Swen. Which, that's cool, but what if we wanted to go all gas? All gas, no breaks, no funny shit. Just Cleansmith into Caesar, into Swen, into Chant, into Eldam, into Megala, into Gabonga, into Doug. This time we're grabbing the entrance because it makes sense, right? Exegard, we still make it. Grab the Critical, except this time we're going entrance, search the Sploder, Sploder, get the Doug, and now we go IP. Now, this may seem like, why is IP such a big deal? But remember, Clatter Sploder is actually really significant for this archetype. Ever since the deck came out, IP Gabonga has been the board. When the deck first came out, you can go Sploder on Gabonga, summon Sploder, summon Doug, grab follow-up, and then IP make either Apo or make SP, and then Gabonga Swallow on top of that, which was a very crafty board. And now we have evolved that play. We have evolved it to now control Fiendsmith and to control and Counter Trap and Gonwald come out since then. So now there are more layers to it, and there's more you can do with it. But it's the same idea. You're still just IP into SP. You're not gonna link off with the Sploder because Sploder would get banished. But you can IP with the Doug, go into SP, and then you have 2 more interruptions on top of what you can already do. So counting down, we have 2 of Caesar, 1 with Gabonga, 1 with Gonwild, 1 with Critical, 2 more with SP, leaving you at a total of 7 interruptions with the IP, and then you still have the Exegard here to do with what you wish next turn. Is it as strong as the Crazy Beast? It doesn't protect you from board breakers as much, but it is slightly stronger because it does help you banish key cards your opponent may have in rotation. You guys are probably looking at this video and you're like, wow, Nistro, that was great, but you're playing so many bricks. You're playing the 2 Radiant Typhoon bricks, you're playing Pile Up as a brick, you're playing Critical as a brick. Okay, I'll show you a line. No bricks. Watch this. No bricks in main. This time we're starting off Gonwald, Doug. We're going entrance this time. Look at this. And we're also summoning Swen before making a play. Swen goes Chant. Swen and Doug go Gabonga. Gabonga search. We're making Boommock. And you're like, whoa, Nistro, Boommock's a brick. No, well, if you watched my Genesis video and my replay of my deck profile, you'd know why Boommock is no longer a brick. Because, as I mentioned, it is probably one of the best plays through Charmies. It's just a really low to the ground play that allows us to get 2 swallows off of 1 Gabonga without needing to commit too much to the board. So that's why we're playing Boommock, because it's the best search off Gabonga with Hua, Charmy, some shit, even Maxi now that Genesis is a thing. We're gonna go entrance, right? Sploder, detach the Doug. Sploder brings back the Doug. Go for Melody. We're going to utilize the fact that Melody has 2 Exceed materials. We're going to detach from it, for entrance in graveyard, recycle the Dug, and the Dug, because we didn't use its hand effect yet, will get to summon itself back out. Go for Requiem, Engraver, Requiem, Necroquip, Engraver, Caesar, IP, Boommock, detach the Dug's last material. And look at this, we still have the chant. And what are we gonna do? We're not playing the bricks. We're not playing that level 3 brick. We're not playing that level 6 brick. You wanna know what's not a brick? MST. And if you really believe MST is a brick, Eldam could search you another Swen for turn 3. If you really believe that MST is a brick. I don't think it is, but if you really believe that it's a brick, then you can use Eldam to search follow-up. So look at this. 2 level 3 wind types? That's a totem bird. Let's count down the interruptions again. Because end phase Gabonga is going to attach Gone Wild. Totem bird, spell trap negate. Gabonga swallow, Gone Wild swallow. That's 3 interruptions so far. MST can stop something. We set it to use it because it's better off in our graveyard. If it's in our graveyard, then next turn, if we open any other of our Swen or our Eldam, they get to keep playing. They get to keep making rank 3s. We have double negate with Caesar, and then IP into a double banish with SP. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's upwards of 8 interruptions off of no bricks. You don't have to play any of the gimmicky bricks. Yes, does this field lose to Dark Ruler? Yes. You do still get 1 interruption off the Gone Wild by detaching the Clatter Splitter, but otherwise, yes, it does lose to a Dark Ruler. So that's the sacrifice that you're making. If you don't want to lose to Dark Ruler, actually, you can play Lacrima. Lacrima is something of a soft brick. Now, in this deck, you don't need your normal summon because of the Radiant Typhoons, so it's not going to be the worst soft brick, but in my eyes, Lacrima is still a soft brick because we're not utilizing Feedsmith to his full potential. We have too much gas now to really care about Feedsmith, and Moon not being around anymore makes some of our lines really awkward, so Feedsmith shouldn't be the priority anymore. It's accessible, but it's no longer the master of how to play Goblin Biker. Yes, you can make Desiree here over the Caesar to stop yourself from losing to Dark Ruler no more and possibly even Droplet, because MST can be chained to the Dark Ruler, and then you can chain Desiree to negate both the MST and the Dark Ruler. I believe it would be okay if MST popped the Dark Ruler, but then you might get into a weird ruling battle with your opponent because they're like, well, the Dark Ruler left the field before it resolved, so it might resolve. No, it still resolves negated. But to save yourself that fucking ruling battle, just Desiree negate both the MST and the Dark Ruler simultaneously. You'll save yourself a lot of stress, I promise you that. So, 8 interruptions, no bricks. You could play 1 soft brick to make it Dark Ruler proof. That's the sauce right there. And then if you want to take this no brick line to another level, then you can kind of do something similar, right? This time we're going for the chant immediately and then going for the Eldam. And this time, no bricks, a Shuriken. No shit, right? Like, a Shuriken just stops everything. It stops Ash, it stops, well, by this point Droll would have been resolved, but it stops Bestials, it stops a lot, right? Like, it's not just here to stop Nibiru, which it very well could do, but it can also stop other things. So you can play a Shuriken now that you have so many extra bodies, especially a Swen or an Eldam equals 3 level 3s. Either one of them. So if you already have access to Gabonga, you already have access to Cleansmith or to Feedsmith, the full thing, you can just make a Shuriken over Caesar. So now we go entrance, and unfortunately, we do have to start detaching from our Shuriken because we really don't have a choice. But it does help that it does basically let us summon Sploder from deck to bring us out the Dug. Go for Gabonga, search Boom Mock this time. So we go Grand Entrance and Graveyard, recycle the Doug Charger, and you can see it's like, well, we have Doug and we have Boom Mock, but we only have one material on Gabonga. What are we going to do about that? And the answer is jack shit. We're going to have to detach that last material from the Shuriken, which is okay. Which is okay. I'm telling you that a Shuriken being a hard once per turn negate, it's okay if we detach 2 materials from it. Gossip Shadow could never. Gossip Shadow, you detach a single material from it, fucking useless. This thing, you can detach 2 materials, it's still a live negate. Isn't that fucking awesome? That's fucking gaming right there, isn't it? So, we go 2 level 3s into Melody. Unfortunately, we've ran out of ways to utilize Exceed materials, so it's just gonna have to sit there. Requiem, Engraver, Requiem, Necroquip, Engraver. Now this time it looks really awkward. We have 3 level 6s. What can we do with 3 level 6s? Okay. Crazy Beast, IP, Revive Crazy Beast. Easy as that. And you have protection against Abystial. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, so end of turn, Gabonga attaches. Let's count down the interruptions. Crazy Beast, detach 2, attach a spell or trap on field. Now, be careful. Be very careful. Look at how many Exceed materials we have total. We have 3 total. And a Shuriken is definitely using its effect at some point. So, before you use Crazy Beast's effect to detach, try to use Gabonga's effect to attach a monster to it. So if a Shuriken uses its negate, try to use Gabonga's effect to attach a monster to it before you resolve Crazy Beast. Because A, you want to save Crazy Beast's effect for if they have any sort of destruction spell or trap. It may be a little awkward to navigate, but it's definitely doable. You have 3 effects to attach a material here, 1 off Crazy Beast, 1 off Gabonga, and 1 off of the Gone Wild. So you do have the ability to replenish the materials that you lose for Crazy Beasts and a Shuriken's effects. So, all the cautionary tales aside, 1 swallow off Crazy Beast, 1 swallow off Gone Wild, double banish off IP, 1 negate off of a Shuriken, 1 pop off of MST, and 1 swallow off of Gabonga. That leaves us with a total of 7 interruptions. If you want to take all the bricks out your deck, you absolutely can. I love the bricks sometimes. Sometimes I think the bricks, they help me. They help me win games. They help me win against decks that I wouldn't be able to win against normally. But if you're good at Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't need the bricks. You don't need the bricks. Maybe in a lower power format like Genesis, or maybe at locals, you may not need the high risk, high reward bricks. In every line here, we've shown some kind of alternative to those brick cards. For example, critical, you can use Totem Bird to negate spells and traps, or you can use Lars. For the monster negates, you can use a Shuriken. Caesar is also a substitute for stopping Nibiru. Oh yeah, also a Shuriken was 5th summon here, so if they did have the Nib, they would have used it right away. There's many different options that you have, but because of how good this deck is now, I think it's good that we have them all together in the same list. So here's your bricky list, right? So triple Swen, double Chant, double Eldam, triple Terrortop. This makes for 10 copies of Terrortop, 3 copies of Gone Wild, 3 copies of Doug, 2 Grand Entrance, 3 copies of Breakout. This is 21 1-card starters. Even at 45, that gives you a 96.52% chance of opening a single starter. 96%, that's hyper consistent. That is consistent to the point of redundancy. You're going to be seeing all the cards that you need, every hand. Now, you may not be drawing the hand traps as often as you like, or the breakers as often as you like, but that's what the side deck is for, because the side deck is kind of made here so that you draw all the breakers that you need, right? You want to get those Charmies, you want to get those Evenlies. I figure just generic board wipes are the best way to go about the side deck, because that's what gives you the ability to play your Radiant Typhoons going second. That being said, you can also side out the Radiant Typhoons going second if you're not confident in their ability or in your ability to open MST or a Feather Duster, or even if you don't believe you can open one of those 3 cards, you can put these guys in your side deck. You still have a good number of starters through Terrortop, Terrortop, Gone Wild, Doug, Entrance, Imprisonment. You go down to 14 starters, but 14 starters in a 6-card hand is about a 90% chance. So it's still hyper consistent. It's definitely below what you would think, what you would want, but that's also fine because you want to open your breakers. You don't need to open all your starters. And that 90% chance is if you took out every single Magnificestorming here. You're probably not going to take out all of them. You may still be on Chant, 1 copy of Swen, 1 copy of Eldam, just in case, but it's personal preference. Now, as you can see, the extra deck looks a little spicy. We're back onto Gabanga. I was saying for the longest amount of time, if you're good at Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't need 2 Gabanga, and I still believe that. But because now we have a more Exceed focused deck, there's no real reason not to play 2 of it. If one gets broken down, just build another one. It's so easy now. Now we have a rank 6 toolbox that's a lot more efficient. Crazy Beast, Lars, Wave High, even Dragon Gate, the new Utopic Ray Lancer. I wish it was as good as Utopic Ray Lancer, but it does have its benefits. It being able to use any rank 3 is awesome, and the fact that it makes all their monsters lose the same amount of attack that he gains means that he could have a really strong deficit over a lot of the monsters your opponent controls. You mix this with a breakout graveyard effect or something, and this could be really significant, and it can attack all monsters your opponent controls as well. So it's pretty cool. King, Totem Bird, you got your Hard Negates, you got Exegard to get your Omni. Leviair here is in case Clatter Splitter gets banished. Leviair could easily bring it back. Zeus Typhon, SPIP, and then we have the tech card here, which you don't have to play this if you don't want to, because I definitely don't think this is a staple, but I want to see where this card goes, and it's been seeing some success in Onamont Ryziel, and it's very easy to make in Goblin Biker. For example, if you don't feel like Leviair is doing enough for you, you can just put in the Exceed Arbor Torpedo and then still make the Utopic Features Exile. So that's absolutely something you can do. And then as a sideboard, you can see Bell mostly for the Yumi and Mitsurugi matchups, and then board breakers for everything else. So here's the Fiendsmith variant of the list. It's a lot more compact, a lot tighter. Still, same number of starters, right? 21 starters, except we're playing a Cleansmith version this time. So Engraver himself is a soft brick if you want him to be. You can also, again, play Lacrima, build the Engraver from deck. If you wanted to play Desiree here, you could take out Totem, you could take out Exegard, and you could take out 1 Gabanga as well. You could also take out Dragon Gate if you're playing Desiree, because if you're playing Desiree, you might as well take out Dragon Gate, just put in Agnumne and just call it a day. So you have options for what you can take out. You don't have to play the deck the way I'm playing it here, but again, I like the fact that the deck is more Exceed focused now, and that's what I like to play to, but you don't have to play it that way. You do have options. I'm just simply showing you how the deck could or should look with a Fiendsmith variant, and again, you just add in your bricks. Your bricks of choice go down here, right? So Boommock, Takatomborg, Engraver, Lacrima if you want to play it, Crusade if you want to play it, Megala if you want to play it. I've shown you lines for every brick that you can have in your deck. Critical, put it in the side for going first only. You can just have it in main in case you want your Exegard to always be live. Like if you're able to break a board going second and then search this, I think it could be very impactful. But Droll is a card, if you guys really want, I could make a video going through all the Droll, anti-Droll plays. I have made multiple Goblin Biker videos before, but I know maybe people are new to this, or maybe they've only recently got into Goblin Bikers, or maybe they're trying to find cooler ways to play their Radiant Typhoon deck. So let me know in the comment section down below. Also, I have more Genesis content for this deck. There's actually, if you guys want to learn about a cool turn skip that I found in Genesis, it's really obvious, but if you guys want to know what it is, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll probably turn that into a video as well. So before we finish off, quick shout out to our sponsors, Card Trader. Use code Nistro, NISTRO, link in description to get 5% off your Card Trader order. Just use the code Nistro at checkout. You get 5% off. Use my code. You get a discount off of foreign cards if you like Italian, French, Spanish, German. Then Card Trader's the place to go. Also Dueling Guard, if you want cool anime deck boxes, mats, Dueling Guard's the place to go. It's one of those websites that like you've probably seen an ad for and gone, wow, that looks pretty good, and so have I. So that's why I signed up for this affiliate program, and I'm really happy to be sponsored. Using my link in the description, you can get 15% off your Dueling Guard order, and again, saves you money, supports the channel. So please, by all means, help me out. Get something on Dueling Guard, get something on Card Trader, or not. If you're a broke college kid like me, believe me, liking, subscribing is more than enough. I appreciate all you guys. But my sponsors are my gift to you, and I hope you guys utilize them so that we can feel good together. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been your boy Nistro here. More content coming down the pipeline. There's so much to talk about in Genesis and Modern, Doomsday, Odeon, DDD, Goki. Don't get me started. Well, actually, please do get me started. Please do leave a comment, and please do catch me on the next one. This has been your boy Nistro here, signing out.